back. We are back. Happy fall to you and yours, whatever the hell that means. Today's exercise is Find the Parity Outlier from Codewars. There it is right there in small type. Yeah. So in this one, you're going to be given a list, which is going to have at least a length of 3, but could be very large, containing integers. You're going to get a list of integers. The list is either going to be entirely comprised of odd integers or entirely comprised of even integers, except for one integer. Write a function that takes the list as an argument and returns this outlier. So I substituted some words there, function for method and list for array, because I'm speaking in Python terms. But the overall thing here is that I'm going to get a list of integers, and they're either going to be all odd or all even except for one number. Looking at this first one, we kind of can see that you got even number, sort of even number. Yeah, they're evens except for 11. 11 is the outlier. And you see there's your outlier. Looking at the next one, got 163, and looks like this is an odd type of list. So 160, being an even number, is the outlier. So return the one that's not like the others in terms of evenness or oddness. That's the charge here. So the thing that comes up with this is, how do I determine in a concise way, or not even in a concise way, if a list is even or odd, dominantly, even or odd. You could loop through the entire list and count the evens and count the odds and see what you got, which one is greater or whatever. You can do that, a little wasteful. I'm going to show you 2 ways of doing this. What I found is that you can determine even or oddness by just looking at the first 3 of the list. Like, look here, the first 3 of this and the first 3 of that. Because this is really about determining evenness or oddness. So within the first 3 elements, you're going to be able to tell, do you have more evens or more odds? Because if it's all 1 except for one integer, you're going to be able to tell, because even if that one outlier is in your first 3, the other 2 will have the dominant trait, so to speak. So we look at 2, 4, and 0. These are all even. So we know that this list is going to be an even list just by looking at the first 3. And then you look at the first 3 in the second example list, 163 and 17, 19. You have 2 odds, so you know it's going to be an odd list. So I think the way to start this is just look at the first 3 and do your little counts and see what's if it's even or odd, and then go from there. Because once you gotta determine that it's dominant even or dominant odd, you can loop through again and find that even or odd outlier. And as with all of these, there are more efficient ways to do it, but this is the way that I put it together. You watching me, so it is what it is. So I'm going to create I'm actually going to get a slice of this original list and just limit it to 3. I'm going to get a slice of the first 3, and I'm going to loop that slice using that good old for each loop. And I'm going to loop through these, and I'm going to actually, I forgot a piece. I'm going to count my evens and odds. So I'm going to create some variables for those. So here in the body of this for loop, I'm going to check for evenness and oddness. If it's even, evens add 1 or increase. If it's odds, increase the odds. By the end of this loop, there's going to be more evens or more odds, so I'll be able to tell if it's even or odd dominated. So once I got that done, I can kind of break it out into a conditional where if the evens are greater than the odds, I'm going to look for an odd. And I'll loop through the original list to look for odds. In modulo 2 equals 1, looking for an odd. And if I find that odd, I'm just going to return the odd because that's the end of what I want to do. I'm not sure my tabs are solid here. And then I do the kind of the same thing on the other side. So I'm sure this can be consolidated greatly, but I'm not going to think through how to do it right now. I'll leave that exercise for y'all. Yeah, so on the odd side, which is handled by the else, looping through, I'm looking for an even. If I find an even, I'm returning it because that is the outlier. So I think this is ready to run. It's ready to pull out of the oven and serve. So let me do this one. And yeah, definitely not ready to serve. What am I doing here? Forgetting my if statements. Because I'm thinking about an appointment I have coming up. Alrighty. Yeah, so that looks good. Of course, missing the ifs. That's a little egregious. That looks good. Then it passes the attempt, so ready to submit. And I'm going to submit this one because I want to hold this solution because I haven't submitted this exact solution yet. So I'm going to submit it and then come back here, show you guys a different solution, and go from there. I'm going to submit, do the thing, and then I'm going to come right back. And now I'm going to show you an alternative to what I had there. But actually, real quick, just so maybe you can get a look, screenshot, whatever. I don't know what you guys do, but there's the completed code for my first attempt here. I like it. I like the idea of looking at the first 3. So there's that. And I'm going to paste in an earlier attempt on this one, an earlier solution really, where I just go through, you look here on the first 2 lines of the function, I just count up everything. So I go through the original list, I count the evens, then I count the odds, then go through count the evens, and then I do the ternary operator here on line 5, where if the length of odds is 1, wait a minute. Oh yeah. So if there's only 1 in the odds list, it means that the odd is the outlier, so I return it. Otherwise, I return the index 0 of the evens. So if the odds list only has 1 element, it means it's the outlier, and I'm going to return that 1 element from it. Otherwise, the even is the outlier, and I'll return that. So this is more concise, kind of syntax-wise, but I think the one I had before is a little more efficient. I'm not sure. Maybe you guys can let me know. But that's really it for now. I got you 2 versions of a solution. Pick the one you like and then tweak it, play around with it, whatever you want to do. I don't know what y'all do, but yeah, this is it. So I'm out of here for now, and I'll see y'all later.